Hey there YouTube, this is SJM436 back with another review video. It's been a little while. I've been recovering from a little bit of an illness, but I'm feeling much better, so I'm very happy about that. Anywho, I was contacted by a company called TrixHub, and they asked me if I wanted to review one of their flashlights. I think they saw one of my past flashlight review videos, and you know, it works out perfectly. I love flashlights. I love LED lights, all that kind of stuff. I'm just really into optoelectronics. Anywho, they make a bunch of different flashlights, and when I saw these solar camping lanterns, I was really interested in this in particular because the house that I moved into, we kind of have a lot of power outages, brownouts, that kind of stuff, and it's happened a number of times where I was literally left in the dark. And so having like a lantern, flashlights are useful. I have a bunch of flashlights. I don't have any camping lanterns, so I thought this would be very useful and just sort of generally good for when the power goes out if I need just area lighting so that I'm not sitting in the dark. I know you can do the old flashlight water bottle trick to kind of make a regular directional beam flashlight into a lantern, but that doesn't always work out so great. So just having one of these lanterns should be very useful. This is actually a 2-pack, and when I saw the price, I didn't believe it. These are like 30, I think they're about 35 bucks. Normal price. They're currently on sale because of the whole Amazon sale thingy, the summer sale. They're currently on sale for 29 something. So basically 15 bucks each, which is that's a really good deal. As long as these work, I'll be happy. Anywho, model number specifically is the TH201, and yeah, it's a pretty plain box it comes in, but hopefully that just means that they spent more money on the actual product inside rather than the packaging. Anyway, here you can see about 300 grams weight. It uses a chip on board, 3 LED, and then uses one SMD 3030 LED. So this has like a front facing light part, as well as, you know, this part's the chip on board obviously. And so, yeah, this should be pretty interesting. It is rechargeable. It uses a standard 18650. Sorry if you can't really see. The lighting's not so great. Maybe if I punch in. There you go. So that means it should be hackable. It should be repairable. If it uses just a standard 18650, I can hopefully pop this open and replace the battery at any point in the future. That will be awesome. The capacity is 2,000 milliamp hours, which is pretty run-of-the-mill. You can get 18650s though up to like 5,000. I think close to maybe 4,000 to 5,000 milliamp hours. So you could actually like potentially double the capacity. That's really cool. Solar panel is only 50 milliamps, so it's not going to charge very quickly. But if you just leave this on like a sunny windowsill, I'm sure that that'll be better than absolutely nothing, just to keep it topped off. It says 5.5 hour charging time if you use a USB-C connector. Thank God it has USB-C, not micro. And it is IPX5 water rated. It does not have a dust rating, but water rating. It should be good enough, especially since I'm planning to use these indoors pretty much. We have, each one comes in its own separate box. Interesting. So there's a box and a box, boxception. And this is how it looks. Yeah, there's a little rotary knob that you can adjust the brightness. And yeah, this is all the same information. I just realized I don't have a knife. Give me 1 sec. Okay, brought a knife with me. So, we do have the obligatory USB-C cable, which is about like a foot long. It's not like super long, not super short either. Like decent quality. I mean, it'll work. So it's good that it comes with that. We have a little manual here. There's really not that much to need to know how to use this. It's probably pretty simply pick up and use. Oh, yes. It has an easily replaceable battery. Look at that. The cap just screws off. That is fantastic. So this is absolutely upgradable, replaceable, repairable. That is, I was expecting to have to like take it apart to actually get to the battery, but no, they actually considered that. That is awesome. Wow. What does it say about the solar panel? It's monocrystalline. Yeah, it's for emergency situations. Yeah, we're just keeping it topped off. I expected as much. It's going to be a small panel. Comes with a protective bag, and that is it. So it has a little rubber flap for the I just tip this down a bit. For the USB connector, there is a battery, or there is a button rather on the side here, and that turns on and off. This is a pretty tight spot. There's like a central tight spot and then a wider kind of beam spillage there. So yeah, that's not fantastic. I would have preferred if it was more diffuse, but I mean, I guess this is supposed to be like a spotlight. And you can see exactly why that is. It's just, there's no lens. It's just a clear piece of like perspex. And you can see it's just one of those like Cree chip LEDs there, and the reflector is just there to, you know, reflect all the light. That's why you're not getting really an even like light beam pattern, because there's no lens on the front. That's okay, good enough for emergency. Let's see if I just put this back on. Okay, you can access it through the flap that covers the charging thing. So you just, it's just silicone, so that works pretty well. Oh, that's just for this front. There's an on-off click rotary knob for these chip on board LEDs, and yeah, it does get like decently bright. And this is the lowest level. So if you wanted the longest run time, yeah, I'll have to go into the dark. We'll probably pop into the basement for a bit, and I'll turn off all the lights just to give you guys a general idea of like what the brightness and the range of this is. But yeah, it is analogly adjustable, which is nice. And between the lowest level and the highest is maybe like twice as bright. Doesn't get super bright, but I mean, this is more for just having ambient light around. There is, if I pitch up a little bit, there is a leather strap, which is functional. I mean, it'll work, that you can just hold it by, and it feels strong enough. I don't think, this is probably not real leather, it's probably like pleather, but yeah, that'll do the job. And you could just kind of push it down. It's like riveted onto the top there, and there's that monocrystalline solar panel there. I wonder if there's any indication that it's charging. I don't see like any LEDs or anything. Maybe, yeah, that there might be an LED next to the USB connector there. I'll have to check that out in a sec. But hopefully it does give you some indication that it is charging if I put this out in the sun. It does have plastic, this is all plastic molding to protect. This is just like polycarbonate, I think. It's just a plastic tube. It's just to prevent that from getting scratched, or if you accidentally knock it over, it doesn't get damaged or anything or scuffed up. But yeah, you can see the very top there is like a little reflector piece there. And let's see how easy, oh, it's very easy. It just unscrews the battery door. And yeah, it's just threaded. There is not an O-ring seal, so they're claiming waterproofing, but technically this would not have waterproofing. You could probably fit an O-ring seal in there. That wouldn't be that difficult, or cut out some foam and like adhere it, tape it or glue it to the top here so that as you screw it down, it pressures. Like it puts pressure on the foam or the silicone or whatever. That'll probably work for making sure this is absolutely waterproof. I mean, this is sort of layered so that there's like overlapping of the bottom lid and kind of the shroud part. So that probably won't keep water out, if I'm being honest. It'll probably actually siphon it. It'll have like a straw effect. If water gets around here, it'll just suck its way in kind of a little bit. So that's probably not so great, but I definitely do appreciate. Probably don't use this outside. If you can help it, use it indoors. If you're going to use it outdoors, make sure it's not like very wet or rainy. I wouldn't really, just looking at how this is constructed, I don't think this is like super waterproof. But it should be fine indoors, definitely. Does have a standard 18650 cell. Is there a marking? It says 2000 milliamp hours, yeah. And it does look like it's protected. There's like an extra thickness there. You can see there's like a gap. So there is a protection board in there. And yeah, it just, that's the easiest 18650 replacement I've ever done. So very happy on that. Yeah, I am really happy that they made this so user serviceable, sort of. I can easily see me modifying this in the future and whatnot. But yeah, let's do a quick test in the basement in the dark. Okay, here we are in my basement, and as you can see, we can't see pretty much anything. I have the lantern in my other hand, and yeah, this is the front spotlight. Yeah, you can just about see there, and it is a pretty tight beam. I'm maybe about, I don't know, like 10 feet away from the door, and it is a pretty tight concentric beam. There is no like acrylic lens or anything, so this is literally just the spot size of the bare LED die that's inside. And yeah, it works. It definitely is not quite ideal. I could definitely use this. As we get closer, obviously it gets tighter and smaller. There is a little bit of light spillage, so yeah, I could totally use this if I absolutely had to. Now, I'm going to turn that off and turn on this, the lowest level in lantern mode. And this honestly is usable if you're just like, if your power went out and you need this to last as long as possible. If you're not sure how many hours it's going to be until the power returns, I could totally, set this down on a table and, like if I wanted to, I guess read a book right next to this. This is definitely usable. There are these bars, obviously, from the plastic bars on the side there that do block the light, but you just sort of angle in, position it, and it does have pretty good spillage. There's 3 of those LED light bars, so it's pretty evenly spread, and this is on its lowest mode. If I turn this up, this is the brightest it'll go. Now obviously this will run for a shorter amount of time, but this is more than usable. For even like a medium-sized room. I'll take a step back to about where I was standing before, about 10 feet away from the door. And yeah, this is perfectly usable. And if I turn it back down to low, there we go. I can just about see where I'm going. Definitely not gonna, trip over something. I can see exactly perfectly fine. It comes across a little bit darker on camera, but if your eyes are adjusted for darkness, this is plenty usable, and this should last quite a bit too. In one sec, I'll go into a different room with more lighting, and we'll take some current measurements to see roughly how long this should last off of the 2000 milliamp hour battery. So give me one sec for that. Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to remove the base so I can get access to the battery. And gonna try to set this onto, let's just see, I start with 200 milliamp range on my multimeter and make sure we are on the right range and just see roughly how much current all this takes. So I'm gonna test the front beam first. This is probably gonna be a little difficult because I'm gonna have to get my probes in here and press the button at the same time. So you can't see it, but I'm seeing about 150 to 160 milliamps using this front LED. So if this is 2000, should have brought a calculator. Give me one sec. Okay, so 2000 divided by, say, 160. Yeah, so that's 12 and a half hours on this front mode. I mean, it's a bit idealized, so it's probably going to be a little less than that, but I think that was a reasonable approximation. So about 12 and a half hours, let's call it just like 12 hours, using this front LED. Additionally, this will be a little easier to test because the knob stays on. On low mode, the lantern portion only draws about 50 milliamps. It's like 54 milliamps, it looks like it. I mean, it's changing a bit, but so at 54 milliamps, that'll run, let's see, 2000 divided by 54, so like a little over 37 hours. That's pretty good, actually. Well over a day, so in an emergency that would actually be pretty useful. And if I turn this up max, let's see, it is over 200 milliamps, so I'm gonna have to move to the 10 amp range and redo this. Looks like 360 milliamps. So at, let's see, so 2000, oh, nope, 2000, not 20,000, divided by 360. That'll give us a little over 5.5 hours. That's not bad, honestly. And especially if you had a power bank with you as well, you could just keep this topped up and continuously operating while it's plugged in. It'll charge while it's operating just fine. The circuitry is pretty simple. So yeah, if you had a power bank, you could keep this running forever, basically. Especially since this is only a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, and you can get like very large power banks now. I have one that's like almost 30,000, so it's like 15 times the capacity of this. So yeah, overall, I'm actually really impressed with this, especially considering the price. This was only like $15 a piece. I think you have to buy it as a 2-pack, so it's like 30 bucks, 30 to 35 bucks. It was on sale for Amazon Day, but as of last night, Amazon, their Prime sale ended. So unfortunately, it went back up then to the 35 bucks. But even at 35 bucks, I think that's definitely worth it for 2 of these. They are, like, obviously built down to a price. They're not like super rugged or anything like that. Oh, I didn't realize you could have both of these on. They're independent. That's cool. Yeah, they're not super ruggedized or anything. If you were trying to use this outdoors, I think the waterproofing isn't gonna work, if I'm being honest. But if you're using this for emergencies like indoors and occasionally you use it outdoors when it's not raining, I think you'll be fine with this. And they're definitely cheap enough that I wouldn't really worry about destroying these. You know, they're cheap enough, 15 bucks a pop. The only thing that you do have to keep in mind with these rechargeable batteries, if you're keeping this for like literally a rainy day emergency sort of thing, every 6 months or so you're gonna have to check that battery, make sure it's charging and it's holding a charge. Last thing you want to do for an emergency, technically alkaline batteries are better because they store much longer. But this guy has a lithium battery, and it will drain over time slowly, even if you don't use it, if you just sit it on a shelf. So every 6 months or so, just top it off and charge. Or if you leave it in the sun, the top solar panel will trickle charge it over time. Just to make sure that the battery never goes flat, because the most useless thing is an emergency device that when you go to actually use it, the battery's dead. No one wants that. So this type of battery, there is a little more maintenance involved versus if you just used like AA batteries. That would probably be better long term. But I think I prefer the rechargeable batteries because I'll probably end up using this a little bit more often. We do have like pretty decent number of power brownouts and outages around where I live for some reason. So this will definitely come in handy, and also sometimes I just need a little extra light in my area when I'm working on something or I'm filming. I just want a little extra light, and this is small enough and portable enough and easy to aim and use that I will probably just end up using this kind of as like a general, like a work light. It's not super bright, but it does seem to like draw not that much amount of current, so it seems like it'll last quite a bit in each of the modes. So yeah, anywho, once again, huge thanks for the manufacturer for sending this guy in for review. This was quite interesting, and I think ultimately will be very useful for me. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I will have links down below here. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.